Left of the box. So, a lot of people recently have been following this person on Twitter, uh, Derek Guy, Die Worker Wear, because it's a nice break from politics. He talks about menswear and makes it actually very fascinating, gets into the history and the culture of menswear, and then he has pictures of men in nice suits and outfits, which I appreciate looking at. But turns out he's been a secret Canadian all this time, and he tweeted this out. It was very fun to talk to Jesse about Canadian politicians on the podcast Canada Land. Thank you for having me on. And menswear writer, and so this is from Jesse Brown saying menswear writer Die Worker Wear was born in Canada but has lived away for decades, so he doesn't really know our politicians. Today on Canada Land, he critiques their outfits without prejudice. Here's a preview. Yeah, I guess he hasn't been in Canada for a while, because if he did, he would know that Jesse Brown is a raging Zionist and is a mark of shame on Canada Land right now. So Rachel Gilmore is an independent journalist here in Canada. After watching him repeatedly go after several WOC, and she's talking about Jesse Brown here, WOC journalists I respect simply because they humanize Palestinians. Jesse Brown has not been the guy I personally would want to associate with these days. This is disappointing. And it is disappointing when you see someone you like in media, support a Zionist or do something with a Zionist. I don't know if Derek knew, but there's no way he doesn't know now. There's no way he doesn't know now, because the amount of pushback he got was quite extreme. As far as I know, he hasn't said anything about it, and that is disappointing. Him going on, not necessarily disappointing, but the fact that he hasn't said anything about it is. Because, again, I'd like to give him the benefit of the doubt that he didn't know much about Jesse Brown. But now that he does and he still hasn't said anything, because I understand a lot of people don't want to get political. Tough shit. This is genocide. You don't get to be quiet on this subject. You don't get to be on the sidelines when there is a genocide being committed. If you're not speaking out against it, you're supporting it. You're supporting the people who are supporting it. This isn't, again, this isn't a debate. It's not a both sides issue. There is a genocide happening. And so I understand people who don't want to get political, but you have to. This isn't just like a surface level political issue. This is a human rights. This is a genocide. This is a tragedy on the highest level. This isn't, somebody's a liberal, somebody's a conservative. What is happening in Gaza is just so horrific. And to be cozying up with people who are Zionists and support that, you gotta say something. And so again, I'd give him the benefit of the doubt that he didn't necessarily know much about Jesse ahead of time, that he didn't know this aspect about him, but he does now. And I understand he doesn't want to get political. Tough. I don't necessarily want to be political every day of my life. But the fact that I'm non-binary and queer means that by default I am. My existence is political, and it shouldn't be. So I don't have the option of being on the sidelines when I see politicians going after the queer community. I don't support people who go after the queer community, because there are some issues that should be gatekept. Because there's all that talk on the left of, so much gatekeeping, you can't have any disagreements, blah, blah, blah. And some of them I agree, surface level, that's silly. You shouldn't ban somebody or cast someone out of the leftist movement because of blank or something they said 20 years ago when they've shown that they've grown since and all that sort of stuff. But there are some things that should be gatekept. And genocide is one of them. You can't be quiet on that. And just to give you a little bit of an idea of who Jesse Brown is. So Jesse Brown tweeted this out. Today, the Jewish school I had went to as a child was set on fire. That is what he put in his tweet. Police and politicians who have shared no facts about who did this or why are telling me to be guided by facts and not jump to conclusions. Yeah, that's good advice to follow. Be guided by facts and don't jump to conclusions. Because here's what he tweeted out, and this is from the Toronto Police. So first, another person just saying the alarming rise in anti-Semitism in our city is completely unacceptable. And this is Josh Matlow. And when an incident occurs at a school, it's incredibly concerning. It's also critically important to be guided by the facts and not jump to conclusions, especially when a community is feeling vulnerable. So one is saying that he's mad that people are saying that he should be guided by facts and not jump to conclusions. And this person saying it's also critically important to be guided by facts and not jump to conclusions. Well, let's read the police statement. This is what the police released here. So, statement about fire at Leo, I'm not entirely sure how to say that word, day school. We understand there is a concern about a fire that occurred last night at the Leo Day School. At 3:46 a.m., police responded to a call reporting a fire in an exterior storage shed being used by an underhoused individual for shelter. Toronto Fire Services extinguished the fire. The cause of the fire is undetermined, with no suspicious circumstances noted at the scene. The hate crime unit has been consulted, and there is no evidence that this incident was motivated by hate. The investigation is ongoing. I think it kind of says it right here. It wasn't set on fire. The fire was an accident, as is common in what happens, unfortunately, a lot of the times with underhoused people who are in tent encampments and stuff. Fires occur because they're trying to, have the luxury of cooking food or staying warm, and they use supplies and tools that are dangerous because that's the only options they have. And so here we have an underhoused individual was using this shed for shelter, and that got caught on fire. This was an accident. But Jesse Brown was saying it was set on fire, that this was a purposeful anti-Semitic act, when really it's just another tragic story of an underhoused individual in need of shelter, desperate to find shelter, went somewhere and an accident happened. But the hate crime unit has been consulted, and there is no evidence that this incident was motivated by hate. And here we have people saying, oh no, this was definitely motivated by hate. Like, never mind that there was an unhoused person there using it for shelter. It was definitely motivated by hate. That's the type of person Jesse Brown is. And that's the type of person that Derek Guy was getting all cozy with. You can't sit on the sidelines. You have to say something. Now that you know, you have to say something.